Hello and welcome to the Shop Your Stash Monster Mash Hop and Giveaway. For today's hop, we're encouraged to shop our crafty supply stash and use monsters and the colors black and purple. Now how fun is that? What's even better is that A Colorful Life Designs is sponsoring the hop and has generously offered a $30 gift card to give away to one lucky winner. You can check out their website here at acolorfullifedesigns.com. This is a hashtag-driven hop, so you can find all of the creators by clicking on hashtag ShopYourStashMonsterMash in the title. I'm also including a lineup down in the description box below. Hope you take the time to watch all of the hop videos because we love your comments and thumbs up. If you aren't already a subscriber, I hope you consider subscribing and click on the little bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Some of us might be offering additional prizes on our channels, so be sure to pay close attention for those details. For my card, I grabbed out a couple of stamp sets that I used probably about a year or two ago, and I decided that what I want to do is put them on a colored background. So for my background, I decided to do a little ink smooshing. I grabbed out a bunch of my little mini distress inks, got some orange and brown and red, and I'm just going to kind of mix those together and do a little ink smooshing on some regular cardstock. This is just some accent opaque white, or it might be some Recollections. I don't really recall which one I grabbed out, but it's one of my regular weight cardstocks. That's not watercolor paper. I probably would have done better with the watercolor, but I figured this is just going to be the background, so it really didn't matter all that much, and I wasn't 100% decided on what I was going to do. So I am trying out a couple of different ways of doing the ink smooshing. Did it direct on my mat, then I did some on a transparency, and that kind of looks cool. Just trying out some different things and just playing putting these things together. I set the panels aside to dry. I promise, I really did. And I got too impatient, so I took my Ranger Heat It tool out to get that dry. Now, you don't have to use a heat tool to do this. You can set them aside and they will dry on their own and you will get a little bit of a different look. But I'm just always impatient. I was doing some other things and just wanted to go ahead and get this card created. So first I'm grabbing out a spooky spider web and I'm putting that into my stamp platform to stamp down onto my panel. I don't really have a plan, so I'm kind of making it up as I go along. First, I'm going to stamp this one down in some Versified Onyx Black ink, and then I'm going to heat emboss in white over that, so it's going to give me those crisp black lines on there for the web. And did you see it? I actually remembered to use my anti-static powder tool. Luckily on this one, and I was shocked, the first stamping turned out perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and just add that clear embossing powder over. I'm using Wow Clear Gloss for this. Then I just heat that up with my heat tool. I decided I wanted some more web, so I just lined everything back up in my stamp platform and stamped it down again. This time I decided to double stamp, and it looks like I didn't have everything lined up in there quite right. Still looks cool though, so I'm going to go ahead and emboss that part too. Now let's play with some monsters. I'm using the Monster Mash clear stamp set from Sugar Pea Designs, and I have to say this is one of my favorites, and I think I use this one every year. I'm going to stamp and emboss these little guys out the same way that I did this the spider webs, and then I'm going to color them up using my Spectrum Noir markers. There's nothing really special about my coloring today. I'm a little out of practice, so I'm using this kind of as a little bit of practice time. I'm starting off with my deepest, darkest, scariest red color, which is the DR7, and using that as the darkest part under his arms for his cape. And then I'm going in with DR3, which is a middle color, to bring out part of that. And then I'm going to go back in with my DR1 to blend it all out. One thing I have been learning from a lot of the crafting that I've been doing is that sometimes you do need to do a little bit extra. So I'm going back over everything again, starting off with that dark, deep DR7. And I have to say, I like it a lot better with this extra detail being added. I'm doing basically the same thing for his pants and his hair, starting off with a scary dark IG9. It's not the darkest, but it is fairly dark for his black suit. Then I'm going in with a mid-tone, which is the IG5, and then I'm going to blend it out. Actually, I went in with the lightest color, which is the IG5, and then I'm going to go back in with the IG6 as the mid-tone to try to kind of blend those two colors together. I do go back over everything again a second time. I think that going back over it a second time really helps to bring out some of that definition. To add a little definition to his face, I went ahead and used my lightest gray marker, that's the IG1, and added a little bit of shading on with that. Then I'm going to go ahead and color up both Frankenstein and the Wolfman. I'm coloring Frank pretty much the same way that I did Dracula, where I'm using a dark, medium, and light, except for the purple stripes that I have on his shirt, because I don't really have colors that match too well. So what I'm doing is I'm using the tip of my lightest marker and touching it to my darkest marker to pick up some of that color, and then I'm using that to be my mid-tone. I'm going to go ahead and trim this spider web panel down a bit. I'm going to cut it down to 5 by 3 3/4, and then I'm going to place this one on a black mat that is right at 4 by 5 1/4. I am still crafting by the seat of my pants, so I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do yet. So I am cutting out each of my characters using a circle punch, thinking maybe I will use that. But then when I put it over the front of my card panel, I just don't like it. So instead, I decided to fussy cut each of these little guys out. Then I take a black marker and I use that to take care of all those little white edges around the sides of my character. I'm thinking I'll put my little vampire kind of in the center of this panel, and I went ahead and stamped and embossed a sentiment that says, what's it say? It's time for some wicked fun. Anyway, I went ahead and put that on there and then decided, I want to darken this up a bit, so I'm putting down some, I believe it's walnut stain and black soot around the edges of my panel, and I just keep going darker and darker, and it kind of starts to look like it's all in a cave, and I really, really love that look. So we've kind of got that creepy and cute look going on, and then I decide, I've got some fresh ink. Let me go ahead and put down a little bit of water splatter. That's just a little bit too much brown, so let's bring in some color. And I go ahead and grab my mica stains. So with all of that mica, first thing you have to shake the tar out of the darn thing, and then you can take out some of that color. And all I'm doing is I'm just adding a few little drops or a little bit of splatter of each of those colors on the front of my panel. And I think that this looks almost like some really shimmery confetti, like it's time for a party. After giving it enough time to dry, I can go ahead and start assembling everything. I go ahead and pop this panel, the one that we did all the ink blending and all the fun stuff on. I'm going to pop that up on some foam tape onto my matting layer. I'm really liking this look lately, and part of that might be that I'm using a thin foam tape, so it doesn't add too much dimension, but just enough. And I'm going to pop up each of my little characters too. So I'm adding some of that same foam tape to the back of each of my little monsters. And since this is a party, I'm going to have Wolfman looking in from the right-hand side towards the center. Frank is going to be basically in the center, and then we've got little Drac that's going to be facing inwards from the left-hand side. All that's left is to adhere this down to my card base. I want to thank you for joining me for the Shop Your Stash Monster Mash Hop. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and be sure to comment below for your chance to win the $30 gift card to A Colorful Life Designs. Each comment is an additional chance to win. I hope you take time to watch all of the hop videos because we love your comments and thumbs up. If you aren't already a subscriber, I hope you consider subscribing and click on the little bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. Here are some other videos that I know you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for dropping by. And remember, if I can make it, you can too.